I would probably, if I were to do it again, do something, certainly I wouldn't want to repeat it, but I have no confidence that I'd be able to do something better. It wears very, very well, both for what it is, and I just like it. I mean, it's, you know, it's really about lines, which is fairly straightforward, but there are three thicknesses of lines. There's the graph grid, and then the sections of the graph grid, and then the lines that create the forms going through it. But they hold it together in a way so that the car is sort of an overall, it's knitted or held together by the design. Well, I think it has a fairly significant place. I mean, I was working on constructions that were planar constructions that were with two-dimensional surfaces that were built up into a number of planes, making it a three-dimensional object. But certainly the cars must have had some influence, because after that I tried to make shapes that were waving, and then I tried to make shapes that had more volume. So somehow I was taken with the idea of volume. You know, I saw it recently. It was in Monaco, wasn't it? For one of the Formula One races. That's the last time I saw it. Yeah. So that's a few years ago, actually. But it looks different every time I see it. I know it sounds stupid, but it really does. You know, well, sometimes it's up on a pedestal, and now this one, I'm looking down at it, it looks really a lot different. I couldn't do better than this. So it's a very hard, and I tried a couple of things, but painting cars, I think, is insanely difficult. It's a very difficult and demanding job. I mean, you have to think of a new idea, and I didn't think of this idea. It was just luck. It was the first thing that I did, but it worked out quite well. The part that was a big deal about this was that this car was quite powerful and was going to run in Le Mans, and it wasn't going to go anywhere. But they wanted to take the lead so that they could be in the newspapers, you know, for the first few hours of Le Mans. And then this turned out to be a bonanza, because in those days, black and white reproduces really well. So it separated itself from the field. You could really see it when they took all the photos. So it really served its purpose. It shows where the design came from. I did adapt this kind of design to this surface, yeah. Right. And I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you can see the various elements, and I went with the lines that I made and the graph paper. And you know, I think the graph was the thing that, I mean, that made it different and made it work. Well, I just go by the cars that I like. I mean, one of my favorites was Roy Lichtenstein's, and that was an idea. But the idea of the graphic or cartoon landscape performing in a landscape was just a wonderful conceit. And plus it's painted beautifully, so it looks great. And then you have to be taken with Andy Warhol's painting, because he messed up a racing car, and it wasn't popular with BMW or the people who do the painting, but he did it himself, and actually, strangely enough, it's one of the best things he ever did, and it works. I mean, messing up cars is, you know, I don't know, it's not that easy. I mean, the choices that you have to make the painting gestures and to make it work out are pretty tough. But that car has a good flow and a really nice look to it.